Hey everybody, welcome to my first ever Digimon deck profile. I'm doing it on Shinegreymon, my current deck that I'm using in the format, and I have gone undefeated many times at locals with this deck. We're going to start out with the Digitama lineup. I'm sorry if there's a shadow in the video. My light source isn't super great, and if I turn the camera light on, it's going to blind you when I look at the cards. So we got Cupamon and 4 Upamon. This card is just in the deck so you can have 5 Digitamas, if I'm being honest. It could literally be replaced by anything. Drawing a card is nice, but it's not super necessary. And more often than not, this effect never resolves. It's very rare for this effect to resolve. Upamon will always resolve. This card is amazing. Always has been, always will be. You just draw a card. Like, if you have 3 or less security, you draw a card. It's free. It does nothing. You do have to attack, but, I mean, it's basically free. Moving on to the rookie lineup. We have the obvious 4 Patamons from the yellow starter deck. This card is probably the best card for the rookies in yellow. It's another one of your free evolve rookies, but when one of your Digimon reduces an opponent's Digimon's DP is 0, you gain a memory. So it allows you to play your Shinegreymons for 3, your Glorious Bursts get cheaper. It's just a really good card. It just helps your board state. There's never a time I don't want this on the board. Coming up next, we have 2 Lotmon, and 2 Salamon. This is it for the usual Shinegreymon lineup. Everything else from here for the rookies is going to be my personal taste. But I will say Lotmon, I hate this card. Every time I play it, I hate it. I understand why I have to play it, though, because if they're going to leave me on 4, I want to get to 3, because when you're at 3 life, it is always better for you. But I really hate this card because every time I play it and look at the top card of my security, I don't want to take it. I just want to leave it there. But I know if I can grab that card, I get to draw a card, which is really awesome, but I just don't like it. Salamon, love this card. When it dies, if you had 3 or fewer security, trigger recovery 1. It helps you against Rookie Rush. It helps you against pretty much anything. Personal taste. 2 of the yellow Agumon. 2 of the promo Patamon. This Patamon, I cannot say enough good things about it. It is phenomenal. It's cost 4, but on play, you get to, if you have 1 or less security, you recover. So it really helps you in the Rookie Rush matchup and when you're in a pinch. I mean, if I could bump this up to 4, I would, because this card is spectacular. I had it at 1, and I moved it up to 2. It is always good. I've never had a game where I did not enjoy seeing this card. It always ended up well. This Agumon used to be a Rappamon. I did not like that Rappamon was almost drawing me out every game. So I put in Agumon, because when you have 3 or more Tamers, on attack you draw a card. Ooh, why can't you focus, camera? There we go. But, you know, he's a little stronger than Rappamon too, so if I have to hardcast him and play him, it's not as bad. But other than that, that's the reason I play him. Moving on to the champions now. We'll start with the obvious. 4 Terraemon. Oh, hang on, that's a spoiler. 4 a Unimon. Most decks are going to run 4 blockers, whether this is your red Cordramon, or your blue Grizzlymon, or your green Woodmon. I mean, your 5 cost 2 evolve blocker is critical. It helps you against the Rookie Rush matchup and everything. It's pretty self-explanatory. The 6 ones, every color has one, and you play them because they're just cheap to evolve. They let you scale up really quickly. I don't know why I forgot the words there. Next two is Rappamon. It's your 3-cost champion to hardcast. If you have to evolve into this, I guess you can. But you really just always want to hardcast this, because it's basically a champion for the price of a rookie. That's the reason you play it, because it helps you get up the chain faster and more efficiently. Last tech I have for this deck is 2 Angelmons. I saw somebody talk about a Shine deck profile where they were thinking about running this, and I just decided to run it. It came up in 2 of the 5 games I played last week. Most of the time it was something I just ended up drawing and had to evolve into, but at a 2-cost evolve it isn't that bad. But when you see it on security, man, does it feel good. It feels so good to see this card off of security, because it just plays itself for free, and then you have a free champion that your opponent has to worry about. But I'm a huge fan of the security Digimon. I think they're very underrated. I think people should be playing them more. Moving on to the ultimate lineup, we've got 3 Sirenmon and 1 Angelmon. Sirenmon is the same reason Rappamon's in here. It is a ultimate for the price of a champion. It's basically a level 5 for the price of a level 4. It's cheap. If you need to get to Shine on a pinch, then this is your card. You always want to go into this. It's a very useful card. Angelmon. I was running this at 3, cut it down to 2, then cut it to 1, and I'm about to cut it all together. The effect never really happens. Whenever I see it, it's usually too late, or I don't have time to evolve into this. But when it happens, it's okay, I guess. Usually I'd rather just have a Salamon or a Patamon to recover at 1. Because usually when I'm recovering, I'm going to win the next turn. I just need to buy myself that little extra time. And that's why she's here, because if I don't have time to play a Salamon or a Patamon and I have a champion out, like an Angelmon, I can just go straight into her, recover, and then buy myself the time I need to win. And everybody's favorite yellow card. It's the most overpowered yellow card in existence. It's Greymon. Please focus, camera. Oh, good enough. So when Digivolving, he allows you to basically play a Tamer for free from your hand. You just do not get the on-play effects, which only matters for the 4-drop TK, but it doesn't really matter in general. Other than that, he makes your Shine hit for an extra security, which is always really good. He is the powerhouse of the deck. He's the lifeblood of the deck. He gets your Tamers in play. He gets your Shine where it needs to go. He's basically everything in this deck. If you see him, you always want to take him. Moving into Megas, or our level 6s, we have 2 Angelmon. This, for about the past 4 weeks, has been a Slash and a Seraphimon, but last week I ended up cutting it, and it ended up making the deck way more consistent. Slash is just way better in every opportunity I had to play it. When you Digivolve into it, you get to minus something by 8,000. So basically, it just kills a blocker, or kills something on the field that's difficult to get over. There's never a bad time to play this card either. I very rarely ever had a time where I didn't want to go into Slash over a Shine. This card's just really, really good. The only issue I have with it is every time I personally swing into security is I always hit a level 6 and it dies. But that'll just be me. I'm sure that won't happen to you guys. Next up, we got 4 shinegreymon. This is your Big Daddy boss. Hits like a truck and wipes the board just because he can. Frankly, this card is ludicrous. When you play it, you get to suspend all your Tamers, and you minus 4k from each of your opponent's from one of your opponent's Digimon for each Tamer you suspended. So every Tamer is basically a 4k neg at that point, and it wipes boards. Usually against like Rookie Rush or Green, playing Shine will win you the game. It's very hard for opponents to recover from a Shine wipe, especially since he gets 1,000 for each Tamer, so he'll get bigger than Omnimons. At a certain point, the only thing that's going to kill this is a rogue Gaia Force, or like a Cocytus Breath, something that can get it off the field without having to interact with it, because the DP will be too high to be killed by anything in security. Moving on to Tamers. We got 3 of the 2-drop TK, 3 of the 4-drop, or sorry, 3 of the 3-drop Kari, and then 4 of the 4-drop TK. For clarification, I have tried many different ratios of this. I've tried 4 Karis, 4 TKs. I've tried two of these TKs. I've tried 2 of these. But this is the ratio I've settled on. This is my 9th iteration of the deck. But, I mean, everything has its purpose. I settled putting this to 4 eventually because I realized that going to 3 is crucial for you. Because if you have to go into Shine, it only puts your opponent on 1 unless they have a go to 3 Tamer. But other than that, he lets you dig all your good stuff out of your security, so you're never really worried about shuffling your good stuff in there. And he basically just, you always either want to grab a Shine, a Rise, or basically one of your things that you need to go up the chain. You just grab whatever you need at the time, and then it recovers. So it's just filtering for your security, which is broken. All Kari does is when you have 3 or less security, she gives you a memory, which makes it more difficult for your opponents to play on their turn because they're worried about how much they're going to give you. I was a big fan of Kari when I started playing Shine. In fact, I was such a fan, I bumped her up to 4, and it was working for a time, but there was just a point where I realized that, you know, Kari has a massive weakness, and that's if you're at 4 or you're higher, she does nothing. So I ended up cutting her down to 3. I mean, it's fine when you see her. She always is good, so you always want to keep that. 2-drop TKs. This card is ludicrous. I used to not be a big fan of this card. I used to think that this TK was meaningless. I take it all back. What he does is during your on your opponent's turn, all of your security Digimon get 2,000 DP. This helps all of your security Digimon get bigger than your opponents, and it matters. I cannot tell you how many games I've been in where I dropped the 2-drop TK just because I had enough memory to put them to 1 because of it, and then they swung, and the thing was just big enough because of the TK. This card comes in handy all the time, and it's always good to drop. Especially since you have to build up your Tamers to get your Shine wipes. Last but not least for the deck, Glorious Burst. Typical of all Shine decks, they'll run about 2. It's basically a Gaia Force that gets cheaper for each Tamer you have. But it doesn't have a security effect, which is very weird because every other card in the game with an effect like this has a security effect. So it's just weird that they didn't want to do it on this one. But A- is by 12. It triggers your Patamons. It's just so good. It's so good. You always want to grab this off TK because it doesn't have a security effect. So you just want to make sure you grab it. Tips and strategies for the deck. You don't have much control over your opening, but I will say that if you can start the game by casting a Rappamon, you always want to do that. This card is always how I want to start a game. Failing that, I always want to see one of the Tamers. Your first turns are usually just set up. Turns 1 through 4 are just going to be get my chain to where I can get to an ultimate, and then sit on it until I have enough Tamers to go into Shine. Because of how much recovery this deck has, I don't have to often worry too much about my opponents killing me, because in a pinch, I always have the recovery I need. Specifically thanks to cards like this promo Patamon. I mean, I cannot say enough good things about this card. This card is so good. It has always helped me in every game I've played. It's always good. Good matchups. I've only ever lost a game to a Ragnalord deck. Most of the times I play it, once you kill the initial Ragnalordmon, they are set so far behind that the rest of the game is kind of meaningless. As long as you play safe, you should never lose to Ragnalordmon. Red Omni is a problem, because they can always just leave their guy in the back, and then when they're ready to go into Omnimon, they'll bring it out. So you're kind of playing with fire there, especially since their security is so dangerous. Red is the most dangerous deck to swing into for you, because Gaia Force and Omnimon being hit will end you. And it's not too difficult for Shine to recover. In fact, I think Shine has one of the best recover abilities in the game, especially when you need to go up the chain and hit another Shine. But for the most part, you just want to be very passive when you play against red. Get aggressive when you need to, but don't play very aggressively. Don't play too aggressive because Omnimon will bite you in the butt for it. Purple is an interesting matchup. You don't really have to worry about much in purple, especially since most of everything they have dies to you on the security swings. Basically, you just need them to deck out before you, because I guarantee you almost every purple game I've played has gone to that point where both of us have 4 or less cards in deck. In those matchups, I would just highly recommend hard casting Digimon instead of evolving. If you need to draw, I mean, go ahead and draw, but like at a certain point, you're going to deck out. Versus blue, I've never really had a problem against blue. They just when I'm talking about blue, I'm talking about like blue Omnimon, which is kind of irrelevant now anyway. But we can talk about Imperial Rookie Rush, because that is a deck that this deck really has a problem against. Imperial Rookie Rush, basically you need to get to your Shinegreymons. You need to get to them as fast as possible. Once you play this, you will wipe their board, and then they are basically stuck. You also... It's the main reason I play this Patamon. There's one guy at my locals who plays Rookie Rush, and this Patamon has come in clutch every single time, because it puts me just out of range. I mean, look, I'm pretty sure most decks in the game can't stop top decking 4 Puppetmons in a row, but at a certain point, your Unimons, your blocker Unimons, and your Shines are going to be what carry you to victory. They will stall the deck long enough, and you should usually always win against Rookie Rush. What are the decks in the format? Green Sarasmon. I personally haven't played against Green Sarasmon. It usually dodges me in the bracket every time I play. But I think the main thing you want to do against Sarasmon is basically just make sure that they don't have a chain that they can go to Sarasmon. Because once they can tap down your stuff, they can swing over it. And you don't really want to lose your chains. So the best advice I have would be to keep an ultimate in the breeding area until you're ready to go into a shine. And then just go for it. By that point, you should just have the game. Oh, yes. Black. Let's see. Black decks would just be... Millenniumon. Millenniumon is a problem, but he's basically the same thing an Omnimon is. He's just delaying the inevitable. So, against Black, you just need to go into Shine and wipe the board. Their blockers will be annoying, but like your Shine gets so big, all they do is delay the game. So as long as you maintain your security, you should always win. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section. I always answer very quickly. And thank you for watching my deck profile. Hopefully I'll get better at this as time goes on, especially with this new camera. I need to figure out how to get it to focus better. Thank you, and have a good day.